Robert Reich served as the Secretary of Labor under President Clinton. He's now a professor emeritus of public policy at the University of California, Berkeley. He's the author of a brand new book called Coming Up Short, a memoir of my America, which is out today, and he joins me now. Bob, nice to see you. You and I have had a lot of chances to talk over the years, very few in person.
Yes, so it's good to see you in person.
It's a great double entendre, the book. One is a reference to you being short. The other one is substantially more important, and it's an idea that we have historically in this country come up short in our promise. I want to discuss that with you in just a moment. But you were the Labor Secretary. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is part of the Department of Labor. That organization may have things that can do better in terms of counting numbers, but they count numbers. That's fundamentally what they do.
You know, the irony is that not only do they count numbers, but this organization is the crown jewel of the entire government data collection process. The BLS, when I got to the Labor Department, everybody said, you know, one thing you've got to do as Labor Secretary, I mean, forget everything else if you want, but one thing you must do is protect the integrity of this crown jewel from politics,
right,
from anybody that wants to influence it. And indeed, that was it wasn't that difficult because they're professionals.
Yes.
They're career people. They know how to do it. They have been doing this for years, and they do it better and better.
I mean, I invite viewers to just go to BLS.gov if they've never gone there. It's a lot of data. If you don't like data, you're going to get a little scared. But it's a lot. It's just stuff.
It's a lot of data, but it's also the kind of data that we need,
yes,
and the whole global economy needs to kind of figure out where we're going. You know, 5 days ago, most people in this country had no idea what the BLS was.
Yes, they still don't know really who ran it and who got fired.
But it is critically important. And for Donald Trump to basically criticize it on the basis of no information, nothing, and to undermine its credibility and to say, well, I'm going to put in my person who is going to give me essentially the numbers I want is extraordinarily dangerous and irresponsible.
So I got a lot of books here. I got your books, and then I brought 2 Bibles. Why? Because I spent a lot of time.
The 2 Bibles in my book.
And your book, right. You got everything you need. The reason I've got 2 Bibles with me is because I study banned books a lot. And people always ask, what were the first books that were banned? And I don't have an exact answer, but it's probably one of these. This was the William Tyndale interpretation of the Bible in English from Latin. This was done in 1380. We didn't really have printing until the mid-1400s. This is the William Tyndale. This is John Wycliffe's Bible. This is William Tyndale's Bible from 1526. This was definitely banned. These were banned because the Bible used to be in Latin and nobody spoke Latin. All of a sudden, you print them in English, and you've messed up the church because the church wants to tell you what's in these books. It's not for you to determine. This is what we're seeing.
Well, we're also saying, in 1984, the book 1984, George Orwell's 1984 dystopian novel, there is in that a ministry of truth.
That's right.
And the dictator in 1984 has a ministry that basically censors everything, wants people to understand what the dictator believes is the truth. Nobody else. He has all the facts. But of course, you can't have a democracy. You can't have people thinking for themselves. You can't have science. You can't have anything that we take for granted as part of our culture. It's not just economics. This goes way beyond economics.
It's way beyond economics. That said, we are in this economic moment that you have been talking about your entire career, about growing inequality. One doesn't actually need statistics to understand that. Everybody in America, everybody around the world feels it. They feel that something's not right. There's huge GDP growth, there's huge trade, there's huge corporate profitability, stock markets do really well, but a lot of people feel they've not done that. And you write in your book, and you worry about the fact that we're at this moment we're at with a guy like Donald Trump, with these types of leaders in many countries, because we've let this inequality get out of hand.
I think that Donald Trump is the consequence, Ali, the culmination of decades and decades in which we have basically not kept our eye on the switch. We have allowed more and more wealth, more and more income to amass at the top. We've allowed the corruption that comes with that naturally. We know. I mean, Louis Brandeis, the famous justice, said in the 1920s, reputed to have said, this country, we have a choice. Either we have great wealth in the hands of a few people, or we have a democracy. But we can't have both.
Right. and we seem to have chosen one. There's something very relevant about references to your being short in the book. It's actually relevant to today and our global situation and our economics. The idea that as a short little kid, you were bullied. And today, people who don't control wealth in this country and this world are being bullied.
Exactly. And I think that's the key to it. Donald Trump appealed, and still to some extent does, appealed to the people who felt bullied.
Rightly so, I think.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Non-college graduates, mostly people who did not feel that the American system was working any longer for them, felt it was controlled. And it was, in many respects, it was just it was designed for the wealthy. And you know something, Ali, I'm old enough to remember when we had a social contract. And the social contract was if you worked hard and you played by the rules and you really put your money and your time and your effort into it, you would do better and your children would do better than you do.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you were going to be rich.
No,
but you'd have a house, your kids would get education, you'd have health care.
But you actually were rewarded for your effort.
Yes.
And then in the late 70s, early 1980s, well, that stopped. The economy kept on growing.
Yep.
But the median wage basically stagnated, adjusted for inflation. And then the finale was the financial crisis of 1970, basically the financial crisis of 2008.
Yep.
There were financial crises before that. But that 2008 financial crisis caused a lot of people to say, wait a minute, the banks got bailed out. The executives in finance who really brought this on, they got bailed out. But homeowners and people lost their savings and people lost their jobs. And this doesn't look fair. This is proof that the system is rigged. Many people got that lesson out of the financial crisis. And unfortunately, I don't think the Democrats rose to the occasion. I mean, and the Republicans, of course, went absolutely in the other direction. They said the problem is what, the deep state or immigrants or foreign trade. I mean, but the Democrats could have pointed the finger at the real culprit, which is great power and money in the hands of a few.
And maybe this is the moment and opportunity for them to do so. Let's just hope it's not too late. Bob, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you in real life, but we'll, of course, continue to have many of these conversations. Robert Reich is the former Secretary of Labor. His new book, coming up short, a memoir of my America, is out today, wherever you get your books.